Talking to new people in VRChat can be scary, so that's why I follow the golden rule. And the golden rule is that no one in VRChat is expecting to have their life changed, and no one in VRChat is looking for their next marriage partner. All they'd like to do is laugh or smile for 1 second. So if you can make someone laugh or smile for 1 second, then you're 90% of the way there to getting added to their friends list.
上手ね。
So since I'm bilingual in English and Japanese, I spend a lot of time here, in the language exchange world. And they tend to use avatars that are like simple animals with 10 polygons total, or they'll be like a printer, or they'll be like a crouton with legs. And I think this is like one of the worst things you can do if you want to make friends. Think about it like this. Everyone's playing VRChat in like a full screen or with their VR headset on. And like, you can choose to fill their screen with like a really cute or cool character. Or you can choose to fill someone's screen with like the printer or like the crouton from before. But if you do that, they probably won't be happy. Unless they really like croutons or something. So that's why if you're a new player and you're used to using these like inoffensive type of avatars, I really want to encourage you to use an avatar that can like fill someone's screen with happiness. You can be a cute anime girl. You can be a cool anime guy, if that's your thing.
You can be a cute furry girl, if that's your thing.
Or you can be a cereal mascot. They're great! So yeah, it's not a joke. People will literally like choose to add you, or they will choose not to add you based on your avatar. So you should have something with like a humanoid shape, or it looks cute or cool. And actually, here's tip 1.5. A lot of people think it's okay to use like gross or weird avatars on like their first meeting. Like this avatar, for example, whenever I talk, his like balls get like really, really huge. And then when I stop talking, the balls like deflate into like nothing. And I do think that when you get to know people better, it's fine to like take out the wacky and like horrible and gross avatars because they actually can be kind of funny. But upon first meeting, definitely don't do that. So tip number 2, know the VRChat caste system. So have you ever been ignored or like been treated really coldly by strangers in VRChat? Well, the reason for that could be the VRChat caste system. So let me explain what that is. At the bottom of the VRChat social pyramid is the Quest only users. So I actually do know some adults who play on Quest only and they're cool. They're mature and I like them. And so I would say that over 90% of people are like little kids who got the quest for Christmas, and all they do is like they literally scream as loud as they can at the top of their lungs. They will literally come to you and pick fights with you because I don't know why they would do that. I guess little kids are stupid. And last of all, as an adult, it just feels like weird to talk to a little kid online, right? Like we don't want to do that. So that's why by default, Quest only users are just like ignored, just flat out. Like the 90% of Quest only users who are like little kids ruin it for the 10% of people who are actually cool. And that's reality, I guess. Now the second rung on the social ladder of VRChat is the desktop only people. So desktop-only people are really common, and for a good reason, because you see here in VRChat, we can animate our avatars without paying for Nitro. Anyway, that's why desktop users are more ordinary and they're like less offensive, but there are a lot of desktop users who started playing VRChat because like they saw YouTubers playing VRChat to like grief and troll people. And then that's when they come into this game and they think they're gonna be the next like Uganda Knuckles and they just start like messing with everyone around them. Also, they're like hackers running around VRChat. They have like a modded client and then they can like point a gun at you. When they shoot the gun, it makes your computer crash. Or they have ways to like steal your avatar or like take over your vision and blind you. And these people are always desktop users as well. So if you're a desktop user and you ever wondered why some people like kind of avoid you or they're even like kind of scared of you, well, that's the reason. And finally, at the top of the social ladder of VRChat is us PC VR people. That means we got a headset and we plug it into our computer to play. We're all really cool, we're all really rich, we're all really nice and awesome too. And the best part is that we don't gatekeep. As long as you have the equipment, you can join us at the top of the social ladder. Also, I was like kind of thinking about this earlier that like it's really hard to bully people in PC VR because like they have like human like motions of the whole body, and even the way their head moves is like you really feel that there's a real human behind it. So like if you can bully someone who's like showing off like so much humanity, I think that you have no heart. You must be like the worst person on earth. You're pure evil if you can bully someone in VRChat. Tip number 3, don't be like my autistic friend. So let me tell you a really shocking story about my autistic friend. So he's obsessed with VTubers, like all his usernames and all his profile pictures, it's all VTubers and everything. So when I told him that there was this Hololive world in VRChat, he was so like excited to play, he couldn't stop talking about it. And this is a true story, by the way. What he did was like he took these dolls and he put them all in like a half circle around the video player in the other room, and then he made the dolls like watch VTuber videos with him. So I rearranged all the dolls, and the room looked a little something like this. That's the video player over there. And then, I'm not even kidding, some bullies came into the room because it was a public room, and then they went over here to all these, where are they? And then they went over here to all these figures, and then they just started knocking over all the dolls, and it just started throwing them around and kicking them around, and then they went on the video player and they put a video of like naked people, and my autistic friend, he was like crying and crying and thrashing, and he was so upset that he just exited the game altogether. And then later that night, he called me on Discord, and he said, I hate VRChat. It's the worst game ever. I'm depressed now. I don't want to socialize with anyone ever again. I think the moral of the story is that, like, I think all of us can relate to, like, a time in VRChat where a stranger did something really, really horrible to us, like, unprovoked. And it felt really, really bad. We felt, like, really violated. that someone would even think to do that to us. But the point is that I've played for almost 1,000 hours by now, and the bad times where people try to hurt me is not even like 1%. It might be like 0.1%. And so the other like 99.9% of the time is like, it's fun. No one's trying to hurt me, and it's a good game, and I really like hanging out with all the people on my friends list. So for all you people who've had a bad experience in VRChat before, like, don't quit. I promise it's worth it. Tip number 4, how to talk to people. So talking to people can be pretty difficult, especially if you're not used to it. I know that before I started VRChat, I basically only talked to my parents and my sister, so yeah, it was really hard. But after lots of trial and error, I developed like a flowchart to use with people. And here's my flowchart I use to talk. So step 1, if the person you're talking to is extrovert, that means that they gain energy from talking to people. So that means if they're tired from like working or going to school or like relationships, then talking to you is their way to like recharge and feel better. So what you can do when you talk to these people is like be a good listener and be like genuinely interested in what they're saying, you know? Because there's a lot of people in VRChat who are working like so many different types of jobs and they come from all over the world. I feel like it's really easy to be a good listener in VRChat. And if the person you're talking to is extroverted, they're really going to appreciate the energy that you're giving them, and they're going to add you to their friends list. And step 2, if the person you're talking to is an introvert, that means they spend energy when they're socializing, right? So whereas the extrovert gains energy and recharges from talking to people, the introvert is like losing energy and spend it, and every second that they have to talk is so horrible and it makes them feel worse and worse and more tired. If you're talking to an introverted person, you want to be the one doing most talking. Because it's not that introverted people are cold or they're like mean or they don't care about you. It's just that for some reason, socializing, it just sucks the energy out of them. So when you talk to them, you want them to be as comfortable as possible. You don't want to overstep any boundaries. And you just want to be like really positive and interesting. And if you do that, even the introverted person, they'll be the one to send you a friend request. Because you made them feel comfy. So yeah, I basically taught you how to talk to every human being on Earth. So you have no more excuses to be antisocial ever. Just kidding. Tip number 5, be really proactive. So imagine this scenario. You're walking into your closest Starbucks at 1 p.m. and then you say in a very loud voice, "Hey everybody, who wants to be my friend? I'm looking for friends right now. Who wants to volunteer? Who wants to be the first one?" So probably people would like look up at you for 4 seconds and think you're insane, and then they would just go back to like playing with their phone or like eating their bagel or something. I would be really surprised if you made a friend just by going into a public space like that and just like asking. And I think that much is obvious, but it seems like there's a lot of people out there who think they can just log into Japan Shrine and then just make friends that way. Just randomly go into Japan Shrine and make friends. Personally, that's never worked for me, so I mainly use these 2 strategies. So number 1 is I join off my friends aggressively, as long as they're okay with it. Because when you think about it, like, your friends' friends are probably similar to you because you share the same friend. So therefore, rather than going into like a random ass server and just like flipping a coin, if you join into your friend's instance, you have a much better success rate of meeting people who are similar to you. And it's kind of a weird thing that like, the first friends you meet in VRChat, they're not going to be like your best friends forever. Like the way it works often is that like the first person you meet, like they're cool, but the person you meet through them, or the person you meet in like layer 3 through that person, like they are the coolest person ever. And that's the type of person that like you might add them on Discord, or you might play Steam games with them, or maybe you want to meet them in real life. Just kidding, that's really weird. But I hope you can see that like joining off your friends is like a vetting process to meet people who you'll be comfortable spending like hours or days or months or years with. Right? And my second strategy, which I really love, is joining events in VRChat. So this one is pretty interesting that like events are happening in VRChat all the time, but they aren't advertised in-game. They're advertised in Discords that are linked inside the VRChat world, or they're on places like Twitter and Reddit, so you have to like manually search for them. But it's totally worth it. Like for example, there are events for people who enjoy like all the same avatar aesthetic, and they'll all agree to meet at a certain time and just hang out. That sounds a lot better than just randomly showing up in Japan Shrine. But also there's events for people who enjoy the same hobbies outside of VRChat. Like there's stuff for dancers, there's stuff for people in the military, there's stuff for like data scientists. And also there's events for people who all enjoy a certain type of music. So they'll all meet together and then they'll be like DJs and they'll all be spinning those beats, yo. Spinning those DJ beats, yo. This is by far my favorite way to meet people who are similar to me in VRChat and build lasting relationships. And if you want to watch that, there'll be a link at the end of the video, also in the description. If you want to know more VRChat tips and tricks, as well as the best gear to buy, then like and subscribe. If you have something to tell me, then let me know in the comments right now. See you next week.